Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Take 5. It is Tuesday, March 29th, 2011, and we are in Matthew chapter 12, verse 29. Or how can someone enter a strong man's house and plunder his goods unless he first binds the strong man? Then indeed he may plunder his house. Whoever is not with me is against me, and whoever does not gather with me scatters. Therefore I tell you, every sin and blasphemy will be forgiven people, but the blasphemy against the Spirit will not be forgiven. And whoever speaks against the Son of Man will be forgiven, but whoever speaks against the Holy Spirit will not be forgiven, either in this age or in the age to come. Alright, now this is a difficult passage to understand, and especially the last verse. And there's a lot of Christians wondering if they've done that. There's a lot of people wondering, have I blasphemed the Holy Spirit? Because if you've ever blasphemed the Holy Spirit, it says you'll never ever be forgiven. So I think it's important to try to understand what that passage means. But before we get there, let's just go back a little bit. They've accused Jesus of being Satan. They've accused him of doing, well, they haven't accused him of being Satan. They've accused him of performing his miracles by the power of Satan. They're saying you do this through the prince of demons. You drive out demons through the prince of demons. And Jesus has asked a series of questions, like how can a kingdom divided against itself stand? And if I cast out demons, who do your sons cast them out by? But now he asks another question, how can you get into a strong man's house unless you bind up the strong man? And then you can take what he's got. So in other words, he's asking the question, but getting them to understand he's more powerful than Satan. Then he just says something, whoever's not with me is against me. So either if you're not with Jesus, commended to Jesus, you're on the other side. That's the way he looks at it. He doesn't. If you don't care, if you're in the middle, he still thinks you're against him. You got to be 100% with him. Now, I want to spend a little more time though on this last verse, because this is the one that a lot of people have a hard time with, but I don't think it's that difficult if you look at the whole passage in the context. He says basically any sin can be forgiven. Any sin even against the Son of Man can be forgiven. And I think he's talking about personally. If you say something against him personally, you don't like something he did. But what these Pharisees had done, they had witnessed him performing miracles right in front of their very eyes through the Holy Spirit. They had seen him cast out demons through the Holy Spirit. And yet they had attributed those miracles to the devil. So they were blaspheming the Holy Spirit. They were saying the work of the Holy Spirit was in fact the work of the devil. And Jesus is saying that will never be forgiven in this age or in the age to come. Now remember, he's talking directly to those Pharisees who had just watched him perform miracles through the Holy Spirit and said that it was the work of Satan. In my opinion, and this is the opinion of my professors at the Whites Ferry Road School of Biblical Studies in West Monroe, Louisiana, when I went to that school back in the 80s, and it's the opinion of many good Bible teachers, not the opinion of all. Again, I say opinion because I could be wrong. But this blasphemy against the Holy Spirit, in my opinion, was a limited time thing that only happened during the time Jesus was here on earth performing miracles. Once Jesus went back to heaven, I don't believe you can do it anymore. Jesus is not performing miracles through the power of the Holy Spirit anymore here on earth. Are there miracles being performed? Yeah, sure. But not like this. Okay? This was a specific, special case, and he's telling these guys, you've seen what I did through the Holy Spirit. You've accused that of being Satan. You have blasphemed the Holy Spirit. You will never be forgiven. Now that's harsh. I don't believe it's possible to commit this particular sin anymore. You would have had to live during that time. And I say that to encourage you, because some of you, and I've talked to those who believe that they've gone too far somehow. Maybe they've had a sin that they've struggled with over and over, or they've done some really rotten things, and they believe they've blasphemed the Holy Spirit. No, that's a sin that can be forgiven. That's the one Jesus talks about before. Even if you tried, even if you said something like, I hate the, and I don't want to do it, but, you know, and you said that, I still don't believe you're doing that. You shouldn't do it, but I don't believe that you've gone too far. It's not the same thing. Blaspheming the Holy Spirit is specifically witnessing a miracle Jesus did right in front of your very eyes through the Holy Spirit and attributing that miracle to Satan. Again, something that happened only at this particular time in history. I don't believe it, my opinion, don't believe it could ever be done again. Would welcome your thoughts on that, but I wanted to encourage you with that. So you probably haven't ever blasphemed the Holy Spirit. So don't give up. Never give up. Keep living out your faith, and come back tomorrow for the next edition of Take 5.